Okay, this week in the CFL, the RWB is back from the bye week. The week after we get four photo finishes in the league. This week, not quite as exciting, but hey, we're back with the Rouge, White, and Blue. Welcome to the Rouge, White, and Blue CFL podcast. My name's Oz Davis. I am the co-host of the show. Joining me, as always, except when we're on by, is my co-host, Joe Pritchard. Joe, how are you doing this week?
Ah, it's been a whirlwind lately, but we got some good stuff coming up at the cancer event in November, so that was where my hard effort went into last weekend. So we're back now.
Okay, so what's the progress on that? This is a
Uh,
key CFL event. What's going on?
yeah, so usually we have one person that's running kind of like the host, right? The MC, kind of running the proceedings. We've decided to split that up this year, and instead of one person doing it, and it's been Adam, the um, I don't know, it's too late in the night for this. So he's the public address announcer out in Toronto, right, for the
Oh,
Argos. He did it the last couple of years, and he's taking a well-deserved retirement from the role. So instead of looking for another person to do all of it, we decided, hey, look, I'm coming to Winnipeg. My buddy happens to be running the show, so let's get a whole bunch of podcasters on and have them split the MC duties. So I've got at least three different people that have committed to, or four now that I think about it, because I had one come in just the last couple of days, uh, committed to helping that whole thing out. So you're not going to have to hear one voice the whole time. Everybody, all the people that are involved are going to have time to partake in the event instead of having to try to um, herd cattle, so to speak. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of podcasters on from various shows across the Canadian football podcast universe. It's going to be a great time.
are you doing MC?
We'll see. I might do a portion of it. I mean, we got four other more talented people than me doing involved, so maybe I'll step away and do some other part of helping run the show, depending. We're actually going to work on some of that over Benjable weekend when I go travel to Winnipeg. So
Hmm.
more to come, but lots of fun to be had in the next couple months here.
All right. All right. Nice. Well done, Joe. Well done. All right. So we're just a couple of days removed from week 11, a week in which four home teams win and four West teams beat up on the East. Now, I got to say, I'm not much for this divisional conference or whatever loyalty, but wow. This is depressing to see again. This year, the East is 7-15 against the West. The crossover now seems pretty much inevitable. Um, Dwayne Ford during, I believe it was the BC Montreal game, brought up the crossover possibility and about how the playoff system is unfair in this regard. Um, any thoughts, Joe, either on the crossover happening once again or on the crossover system?
Well, I mean, didn't wasn't it just a couple weeks ago we told the Alouettes not to do 80s night anymore?
Hmm.
Should we tell the whole East to do that now?
Hmm. Hmm. Ever since you dropped this reference, I forget exactly what you were referring to at the time, but you dropped this reference in that we're partying like it's 2014. I have rued your name since since you have said that.
Ooh, take a note. You got plenty of people in front of you.
My God, especially my Alouettes. But hey, our fourth starting quarterback of the year next week. Fantastic. Just like 2014. Feels like that in terms of this crossover situation as well. It really does. It struck me a while ago that the crossover situation is rather unfair. Because as Dwayne pointed out, you can get a scenario where it's West versus West, presumably, in the Grey Cup. But the only situation you can get that is to have one of those teams be at number 4 seed, right? Basically, the number 6 seed overall, but the 4 seed in their division. So, yes, it does seem rather unfair that it works out that way. Maybe when you have the crossover, you should reseed that second round. Don't know. But
Maybe, or you could do something even more unfair, like they did in 1986, because
okay,
they had
what's the situation.
So this is the first time that they toyed with this idea, right? Because in the 80s, you had a lot of situations, like in 1981 for sure, where you had a 3-13 Alouettes team make the playoffs,
Right.
and a 9-7 Riders team miss the playoffs, and the Riders needed all the help they could get in that time frame to make the playoffs to begin with, and then they had to go face the rest of the West, right? So happened a few more times where basically the East was a dumpster fire for the whole 1980s, right?
Yeah.
Even to the point where I'm a nerd when it comes to this type of thing. I do a lot of research when it comes to the 80s and the CFL because of the board game, right? From way back when. I was doing some research on Montreal in 86, and I came upon one of their writers that I'd been seeing because I'd done a couple of different years too that I'd seen across the board for a bunch of different years. And like at the end of the 1986 season, he's like, you know what? I'd rather go watch a small college Quebec football game over the CFL East anymore. I'm so sick of this. I'm done with it. Little did he know he was actually done with it. But what they did that year is instead of having a crossover, is they had the fourth team in the West was playoff worthy because they were better than the third team in the East. Well, they went back to the old 2-game total point series in the East. Don't ask the Argo fans how that went.
Right.
And then they had 1 versus 4 and 2 versus 3 in the West, and then conference final, the winners, and then Grey Cup, right? So doesn't that seem quite unfair when you have to go through the gauntlet out West, or you have to face a team that was like you're equal in a 2-game total points home and home? Which one are you choosing if you're in the you either have to beat 2 solid Western opponents, or you just have to not be worse than your counterpart out East.
Okay. All right. Basically, we just need the 10th team. Let's just get the 10th team in the league. That's all.
And you could still have a crossover in that case, right?
Oh God.
Because think of it. An expansion team might be like 1-8 right now out East, right?
Wow. Well, have they played the Argos? Have they played the Red Blacks yet?
Well, I mean, they had to get that win somewhere, right?
Well, yeah, but then don't the Argos and the Red Blacks have a win? Oh, I see what you're
Maybe.
saying. Okay. Wow. Well,
although a 10th team, though, if we're on that subject for a few seconds, and if we're gonna we'll just go. If we're going random directions, let's go. How do you do the scheduling? Do you break it up to have more divisional games, or do you play everybody twice like you do now? Because if you play everybody twice like you do now, you're playing more games out of division than you are in division.
Yeah.
Or you play 12 in division, 6 out of division, where you are playing everybody once out West from the East. And then you get matched up home and home with whoever finished with this in the same standings spot, right?
Right.
Like
Right.
I worked that out 10 years ago when we were first talking about this stuff, right?
Okay.
Like those are the two obvious options.
Mhm.
So of course they'll
You
screw it up and do something else.
could mix it up a little bit. Like let's say you're the 4 in the East, then you get to play the 4 and the 5, something like that.
Well, then you're
Yeah.
going 11-7. Who are you playing one less time out east? Like if you play 12, you play everybody 3 times in your division.
Okay. Right.
And you play everybody once out west plus that extra game.
Right. Okay. Play everybody out west.
That's clean and easy, and
yeah.
Like any other way you do it, it's going to be weird. Not
Well,
that
I mean, that's
schedules aren't weird anyway. It's just if you're going to have a 10th team for balance and sanity and such, why don't just go all the way and make it a sane scheduling scenario too?
Well, see, I'm a big believer in soccer, in rugby, in Europe, Australia, whatever. They have this tradition of derby games. And I am a big believer in that. I really wish we would have that in NFL football, in CFL football. I do. Now in CFL football, you do have that, right? You have Labor Day, right? You have those games. And again, my ultimate fantasy is to have that 5th team, and then that 5th Labor Day game is the coast to coast game.
Well, you do that, and then if BC and Halifax don't meet up in the next week,
right,
or that they don't meet up twice in your standings, they get to bye the next week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or you do something where you have BC play Hamilton and Toronto play Halifax or what have you. Because they don't always do back-to-back either.
Yeah. Yeah. Halifax could play the next week, or whoever the home team could play the next week.
Right.
Sure. Yeah, they could even have the short week. That would be the
That's also going to be your other problem. You're going to have double headers on Fridays and Saturdays, or at least one doubleheader Friday or Saturday if you're going to have the 4 days, right? Yep. And then what happens in September? When are you going to do 3 on Saturday every week? Good luck with that.
Well, it's just the ultimate would be to have that one day where you could have 5 games going at once.
You could do that for.
It'd be great.
Well, you couldn't do that for Labor Day. You could do that for the week after. Make that your party, right?
Right.
You ain't doing that every week, though.
Oh, no, of course not. No.
Yeah. You're playing 2 on Friday, 3 on Saturday, or 2, 2, and 1.
Yeah.
And hope the 1 is in a decent window where some of the NFL fans come and watch you, right? Or you just keep going Thursdays and just say the hell with it. We're getting in the NFL's way. Except TSN also owns, or Bell also owns the NFL rights. They're not going to do that either. Like there's actually you're going to probably have more problems than you'd solve by adding a 10th team, right?
Really?
Just thinking about this in a TV broadcaster standpoint, right? And a scheduling standpoint. And yes, 9 teams ain't perfect, but we're used to it, right?
Well, okay. Here we go. Here's more familiar ground. All right, you talk about the gambling element. You talk about the fantasy element. The truth is that, okay, if you want to attract the American audience, or even, let's say, the NFL audience, right?
The casual football fan that pays attention because of other people screaming about it, right?
Well, I mean, that's a very small bit of the active market. Sports fan, let's say.
Right.
Where, you just like quality sports, right? Not necessarily a rabid adherent of hockey or NBA or whatever. Okay. So you're going for those fans. The truth is that you're gonna maximize, right, before September. That's it. That's the best you can hope for, is to get us, because the truth is, most American football fans their attention is automatically sucked away by either college or pro football in America, or both. Okay, they don't. American football fans tend not to have time for the CFL.
I've given up on the American football fan adopting the
Right,
CFL. Right,
right.
I'm okay being an outlier.
Well, yeah, but the gambling and the fantasy do bring Americans to the CFL in the summer, right? That's the thing. The over there in the States, they're trying to do this spring football, summer football stuff. These fly by night leagues, calling themselves the USFL, for example, that go nowhere. That's because, hey, look, the CFL is here. The CFL is going to stay, and like more and more people come every year. It's just that they leave. They leave after Labor Day. And then, yeah, you might get another ratings bump. This is what ESPN found out. You might get another ratings bump come playoff time, but that's it. That's it. That's the best you're going to do. So there's no point in planning your schedule around that.
Yeah, well, the reason you plan the schedule around that, though, is because Bell has both
Yeah.
the CFL and the NFL rights.
Yeah.
So they're going to maximize their windows as far as, okay, I can have football on Thursday night. NFL is going to give me better ratings.
Right.
Friday night, the NFL don't play. Saturday night, the NFL don't play. That's where we'll put the CFL games. You're going to have to put 5 games in 2 days, and you could start at Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's the best you're going to do.
Right. Right, until Friday Night Football.
Right. You have to have a Western game on Friday nights every week in September going forward, right?
Okay.
Because you need that 9 o'clock game,
Right.
or 10 o'clock game out east,
Okay.
9 o'clock Central, because that's where I live. And then Saturday, 2 games, right? That could be
Right.
4 and 7 or 7 and 10, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But now you add a 5th game a week because you have 10 teams. 1, 4, 7, right?
Yeah. Right.
Or
Okay.
4, 7, 10. And
Okay.
good night to your Eastern audiences for the 10 o'clock game.
So maybe eliminate the Ottawa Redblacks. Would make it easier. No, I kid. I would never do that. I would never want that to happen.
I mean, the way they're going, that's not even a whole. That's not even that, like. That's not funny because that could happen in the next 10
I
years,
guess.
right?
Yeah. I guess. Let's hope not. However, in week 11, things started with Winnipeg Blue Bombers 30, Ottawa Redblacks 27. But look, I want to start like this. I mean, Joe, again, I have to ask what gives. Okay. So, in the past 5 games, the Bombers have been outscored in the second half. Okay, ready? 103 to 40. 103 to 40. That's basically 21 to 8.
Yeah.
Okay. Including in third quarters. Okay. In third quarters, this is 53 to 13. That's 11 to 3. 11 to 3 average third quarter. The Bombers are coming out of the locker room and getting smoked. What's going on now?
It's been the last 2 or 3 years where the offense takes a nap, sometimes starting in the second quarter, and wakes up sometime in the fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter, right.
If you're lucky.
Right.
And usually they do. Because usually they would race off to these 14, 17-point leads, let the other team drift back into the game over the next quarter and a half, and then Brady time. They have that 5-minute drive down the field, score points, make it a 2-possession game again, and then the defense steps up, makes a big play, place goes nuts, and that's the game. That's been the script for 3 years, except that they no longer have the margin of error for that because they're the teams making the penalties at the wrong time, turning the ball over too much, and giving the other team life when they wouldn't have had it otherwise. Oh, and also their secondary is how should I put this mildly? Their
Oh,
secondary happens to be whoever is healthy and can stand
yep,
up any given
yep,
game.
yep,
So,
yep. I wanted to talk about that momentarily as well. But the thing is, Joe, this offense isn't even waking up in the fourth quarter anymore. I mean,
no.
again, they've lost these past 5 games 10-5 in the fourth quarter,
Mhm.
average. You know, I mean, they're not this team is not scoring a touchdown per quarter in the second half these past 5 games. Now,
Oh,
three of
no, no,
those
no.
games were against the Stamps, so fair enough. But there was a Toronto game in there, and then there's this game in there, which they almost
Yeah, the game they lost against Toronto, they made so many mistakes. It's unbelievable that Toronto didn't beat them worse.
Mm-hmm. 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 Well, yeah, Toronto is too busy making mistakes of their own. Right?
Yeah.
Their problem this year too. Okay, so yeah, I wanted to start off talking about this game. Aside from that, talking about that shuffling around in the secondary for the Bombers, but I mean, in this game, the pass wasn't really the passing game wasn't really the problem for Winnipeg, right? I mean, the Drew Brown left the game early. Okay, Justin Hardy was well covered the whole game. I mean, 2 catches on 6 targets. There was that nice goal line stand in the second where they kept Dustin Crum out on 3 plays. I thought that was pretty nice. Really, they got the Bombers were outplayed this game, I thought, on the special teams. I mean, Khalil Pimpleton just had a monster game.
Hmm.
Had that, what is it, 117-yard run back on the missed field goal. I mean,
So it's been a long time since I could sit back and say the Bombers are getting out coached. And I don't think this week they were out coached. They just were playing down to the level of their opponents, right? Because Ottawa made their own mistakes too with
oh yeah,
taking a field goal when they were when
yeah,
they were down 3 scores.
right.
They made their own mistakes of that caliber, but Winnipeg was making mistakes uh, pretty much from the fourth quarter on.
Mm-hmm.
So they played the deep zone,
Mm-hmm.
let Ottawa move down the field, and they're playing the deep zone against Dustin Crum, who's not exactly going to scare you with his arm, right?
No,
But I understand it's a 17-point game. You don't want somebody to get behind you and turn it into a 10-point game in one play.
right.
Fine. You let them grind down the field, take 4 or 5 minutes, score a touchdown. Then you have to change your thinking. You can't just go back and do it again because Justin Crum has just shown you he's going to use his legs, going to use the short pass. They're going to move
Yeah.
down the field efficiently, and they have the capability of scoring, right? They sat back again,
Mm-hmm.
and the
Mm-hmm.
same thing
Right.
happened.
Right. Right. Yes. Yes.
The first drive, I guess, that was the field goal drive. The second drive was for the touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And then Winnipeg had a drive of their own that looked like it could be a put away. They stall out. Then they go with Sergio Castillo from 58 yards, which normal situation, fine, I guess. But you're protecting a lead against a team that doesn't have that deep strike capability on offense. So what do? Sure, I get the idea about trying to go up 2 scores. I like that idea in general. But you're also asking your field goal team to defend a kick if you miss. And if from 58 yards, you're 40 yards downfield or 40 to 50 yards away from the return when they get their hands on that ball. That's a lot of time for them to find holes, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
long field goal when you're defending a 1 score lead, that's just not the right call. Even with Sergio, he's really, really good at those long ones. Wasn't good this time, and it cost him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you just try to pin them, make them beat your defense for a third time in a row? I mean, you got to have some sort of faith in your defense, right? You're going to ask Dustin Crum with like a minute to go to try to go 100 yards. I'll
Right.
take those odds if I'm Winnipeg, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, then we had the back and forth, right? Winnipeg punts. Ottawa makes their fatal mistake of kind of trying to go in between either running out the clock or getting a first down, and it didn't work out at all. And then Winnipeg does finish the game off. So they did take advantage of an opponent's mistake after making many of their own.
Right. Yep. Yeah, just enough to win. But again, we're talking
against
about
a bad team with a backup quarterback.
Right.
And we're letting them back in the game because you didn't know how to put them away.
Right. Exactly.
That's the difference between the Bombers teams of the early part of the decade and the Bombers teams now is the Bombers have lost a lot of killer instinct.
Mm-hmm.
They're now the team flailing away trying to make that big play, and penalties, turnovers, what have you, and letting the other team be the ones that are just play solid football and beat you because you can't do it yourselves.
Yeah, I was wondering. Yeah. Okay, I wanted to move on from this one, but I just wanted to say I just referred to the Winnipeg kicker as Sergio Leone. He's actually the Hollywood music guy. That's Sergio Castillo, of course, as Joe pointed out. By the way, kudos to him for making that 63-yarder in the Week 10 game. Which we were here for. Hey, first one of the year, longest field goal in the CFL this year. And sorry to say, a losing effort, Joe. Right.
Because they made a fatal mistake to play after, right?
Of course. Oh, poor Winnipeg. Not.
Yeah, I'm sure you're full of tears right now.
Game 2, let's talk Edmonton Elks 28, Toronto Argonauts 20. Now, I'm not sure what to play up more here. Whether, we should trumpet about the second comeback win in a row for the Elks and the second win in a row. This is 1 week after the Cody Fajardo revenge game, actually the revenge fourth quarter against the Owls the week before, or talking about Toronto. And I think I'm going to talk about Toronto because, wow, this game, I think, definitively proved that this is just a bad team. Joe, I mean, seriously, nothing is going right for this team. Okay, they're just a couple of easy stats. I mean, they lost on penalties 8-2. Edmonton, nice, clean game by Edmonton. Just 2 penalties. Good for them. Meanwhile, Toronto, 8. I believe that the Argos are actually leading the league in penalties at this point. They're now ahead of the Riders, I believe, which is something because the Riders have about a 10-year streak going in that statistic. So to think that Toronto is actually above them is something else. Toronto lost in the turnovers 3-1. And by the end of the game, they lost Devontae Coxie, who I don't know. Have we heard anything about this injury? If he misses time, there's not much to say about this team.
Well, they're done playing Winnipeg, so Coxie's not going to put up 200-yard games against them.
Well, he has been. He's among the league leaders this year. He may be leading the league in yardage until now.
And that's just the 2 weeks he played against Winnipeg, right? Good Lord, Winnipeg could not stop him to save their lives.
Yeah, no. He looked good against the Bombers this year. But hey, the truth is, Coxie aside, Toronto is now 0-6 this season. 0-6 went down at halftime. They cannot make up a lead. During this game, the TSN guys were talking about the accuracy in the CFL, and about how Nick Arbuckle is one of the guys, leading, having an all-time season by the stats in this category. But in this game, again, 30 of 42 for 382 yards. And they lose to a team that hasn't looked good for much of this season. The other thing I wanted to point out was, he had the 56-yard play to David Ungerer in this game. Really nice play on that one. Busted coverage by the Elks. But that was just the 18th play of 20 yards or more. by the Argos this season. And in
Huh?
fact, of those 18 plays, 10 of them would have been from Coxie, probably all against Winnipeg in those two games.
Nah, just 8 out of the 10.
Yeah, 8 out of the 10 versus Winnipeg. So, I mean, I guess this is just an example of statistics can fool you, right? Statistics can lie.
Yeah, because it's easy to have a high completion percentage when you're throwing the ball 5 yards down the field all the time, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's what's happening, but that's probably what's happening, right? Because you don't have that many big plays.
Yep. That's the upshot. No one is going to put, 2025 Toronto Argonauts and explosive offense in the same sentence, except as a contradiction. This just isn't a very good team. This just isn't even an interesting team at this point this season. I can't believe this is the defending champs. Crazy. Now, how serious are we taking the Elks, Joe? I mean, this is just same old, right? Start the season horrible, basically play yourself out of playoffs by the midway point, and then start to win a few games.
Yeah, we're about there. I mean, I think we knew their floor was higher with Cody Fajardo, right? But I think we thought that Trey Ford was going to get some runway and see if he could be the guy. Clearly, they disagreed. The floor is obviously lower. He's going to have, when he starts for you, he's going to have some games that are just not great, like the one right before he got benched, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the floor with Fajardo is going to be higher. They're going to win right now. What, they're 3-6, and they could win 6 to 9 games somewhere in there.
Right.
Maybe even sneak into the last playoff spot if something works out really well. They'd have to go over 500 for the rest of the season. And either BC or Winnipeg would have to slip, and they'd have to outpace Ottawa and Toronto too. But we're making the assumption that's happening, right? But I mean, that's the way you avoid the crossover, though, right? Is Edmonton playing better, BC or Winnipeg regressing, everybody's in a clump of 8 and 10 or 7 and 11, and East gets the tiebreaker automatically, right?
Wow. But to ask these Argonauts or those Red Blacks to put together even 8 wins this season, it's asking a lot.
That's thinking more like 7, right?
Yeah, but jeez, even that right now, that seems pretty unimaginable. I know we have half a season left of football, but
yeah,
still.
I mean, that's the scenario where you don't get a crossover, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Which again doesn't seem very likely.
So we'll see. I mean, Edmonton is improving. They are.
Oh yeah.
They didn't take that huge digger this year where they start 0-7 or 0-9. So it's not out of the realm of possibility they finish with 8 or 9 wins, but it's also asking a lot too.
Well, you were talking about Cody, and I feel like that here he is. He's in a position where he's trying to win over a third skeptical fan base. I mean, they were skeptical about him in Saskatchewan when they were losing a lot of games.
He was an unproven rookie. Well, not a rookie, but he's unproven when he stepped in for Zach in 2019. He got them to one pass away from the Grey Cup.
Right.
And never gained the respect he deserved because they were in the West Final 2021 as well. Mm-hmm. And yeah, if he would have had a better game, they would have been in because Winnipeg was doing everything they could to hand the game to them. But then even the next year, Cody was just trying to carry that team by himself by the end because nobody else was giving.
Yes.
I mean, there was that Banjo Bowl was the one where there was stomach issues going on throughout the team.
Yeah.
And he was, I went back and watched that game a couple times because I like watching the Bombers kick the crap out of the Riders because, well, Bomber fan, right? But like the second or third time I watched it through, it was like, holy cow, Cody kept that game
Oh yeah.
a game far longer than it deserved to be.
Yep.
And they still didn't give him any respect for any of it. It goes to Montreal, wins the Grey Cup. The next year, East Final. Not the greatest game he's ever played in the East Final, but fine, that'll happen. And then all of a sudden, back up in Edmonton. Like, I hate to pin. It's not entirely on him, the team winning or losing. It's just, you always talk about quarterback wins. It's not always just about the quarterback, but he's been in situations where he's won. And he's been capable of taking teams in those situations to getting results. He's even won the Grey Cup, and he doesn't get any respect for it.
Nope.
It's mind-boggling.
Yep.
Like, I kind of get where now, sitting back, watching how Edmonton pursued the off-season, looking back on that, knowing they probably didn't have a high regard for Trey Ford, but wanted to see if they could get something more out of him than, because it's a new regime, right? New group of people looking at it. Bringing in Cody, obviously Montreal would love to have Cody right now, right?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yep. We sure would.
It's making Edmonton viable again. So I don't know with that talent group, if he's going to be able to get them, say, next year into the upper echelons of the West, but he's at least going to give him a shot, right?
We've got names. I mean, last year they were doing interesting things with that three-headed monster in the backfield. Justin Rankin has had
Rankin's been great.
Excellent season. He was awesome in this game. I mean, he was unstoppable in this.
It's kind of weird they've leaned away from the Thunder and Lightning thing with Javon Leake.
Right.
But maybe this group doesn't have the same approach as far as using the running backs that the group last year did, because they were doing great things. Like, they went into Regina and kicked the crap out of the Riders with the three-headed monster. Right? So they have talent. They have they have some wide receivers. They have some defenders. They're not quite there, but I mean, given where they come from, like, nobody thought they were going to be all there this year, did they?
Okay. All right. So moving on, here's another game Joe probably doesn't want to talk about. Saskatchewan Roughriders 29, Hamilton Tiger Cats 8. Well, I mean, just as we learned in the previous game how bad the 2025 Toronto Argonauts really are, we may have discovered finally how good the 2025 Saskatchewan Roughriders are. I mean, you could just start with the obvious. I mean, this Tiger Cats offense is the highest scoring in the CFL. Coming into this game, averaging over 32 points. And in this one, well, I mean, single-digit score on the board. That tells you most of what you need to know. Absolutely dominant in all areas of the game. Trevor Harris may finally shut me up this season. Right now, they were talking about before this game that basically you might as well give out the MOP right now. It's between Trevor Harris from the West, Bo Levi-Mitchell from the East. I mean, that's barring injury. That's who the nominees are going to be. Trevor, again, outstanding game. Was it 21 of 27 for 307, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Just a monster game by him. Everything looks good on the offense. We don't even know who are the lead receivers on this team right now. Okay, Keyshawn Johnson. Okay, that's legitimate. Number 2 receiver in this game was Dante Myers. Dante Myers with 3 catches for 76 yards. I mean, Trevor's finding everybody in this offense. The defense like I say, was great. 8 points scored by the highest scoring offense in the league. Um, what can you say about these Riders team, Joe? Anything negative?
No. I mean, their one loss was to Calgary when Calgary was hot, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Are we gonna? We're not gonna, give them a ton of crap for one game, right?
Mm-hmm.
8-1 start to the season. That'll play.
Yeah, even for the Riders, that's outstanding. Usually get off to that hot start, but not this hot. Um, okay, so not much to say there. The previous week, week 10, they had the bye. And I was actually thinking for the purposes of the show, that was about the only thing that went right was that the Riders did not get the win against the bye. But wow, this Riders team just looks fantastic right now, halfway through the season. What can stop them? Right, finally, final game of the week was oh boy. After what 6 games in a row, that came down to the last drive of the fourth quarter. Now we get the Riders game completely shutting down the Ticats and BC Lions 36, Montreal Alouettes 18. As Bill Walton might have said in his game, it's a disgrace. This wow. I mean,
Yeah,
my
the one Saturday I could just sit there and watch football until my eyes bled.
oh
I got that right.
well, at least you got a free hour or so. I mean, when do you give up on this game as a non fan?
Oh dear, probably like, gosh, it was pretty clear pretty quickly that this wasn't going to go so hot.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, you have Maltos Diaz missing a 7-yarder in the second quarter. Forget it. You know it was over right there. This is the kind of team the Owls were. You were talking before about quarterback wins. Now again, quarterback wins is probably not always a very good indicator, a very very useful statistic. But I got to tell you, look, this season. Montreal Alouettes 4-0 with Davis Alexander as starting quarterback, 1-4 with McLeod Bethel Thompson, and now we're 0-1 with Caleb Evans. Now, what's your axiom, Joe? Why don't you repeat this for the fans again? What's your axiom about second string quarterbacks in the CFL? What do you have to do with your second string quarterback?
They gotta go. If they go anything, first of all, if they go anything more than 4 games, your season's probably in trouble already. But
Okay.
if I've got him, if I've got a backup quarterback, I want him to go 2-2 over those 4 games and give my starter a shot. Right.
Right. Okay, so
not
we're
going so hot for you guys.
Yeah, we're 1-5. How does that stack up?
Yeah, that's called not getting the job done.
Ugh. Well, it's just like, okay, again, that's not the quarterback wins is not a great stat. But you look at this team, and there's absolutely no reason why this offense should instantly be this bad. I mean, but it is a question of that quarterback just not. It's like this is a AA battery when what you need is a C. I mean, it's like it's not. McLeod Bethel Thompson may be a competent quarterback, but it's just not for this offense. Caleb Evans is not an awesome quarterback. I mean, he didn't finish the game. When he was in the game, 3 for 4 with 2 sacks. I mean, for as long as he was in the game, he's holding on to the ball the whole time he's there. As the starter in this game, the first 2 drives were 2 and outs. The third drive is only extended by dint of a roughing the passer penalty. So, Caleb, if Caleb Evans is the answer, I'm not sure what the question is here. It's just this team looks completely demoralized on offense when they don't have a starter. And here we go. We have Lemon, we have Sankey, we have Beverett on the defense, we have studs on the defense. But I guess defense won't win you ball games.
Defense
And
alone can't win ball games, but defense
right.
and a competent offense can win you championships, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that
Right.
the thing is defense wins championships, but your offense has to at least produce something, right?
I swear again, I swear it's all psychological. I mean, look at our receiving core. We've got names. These guys know how to play. These guys are Grey Cup champions. These guys are like, all CFL teamers, some of these guys. It's like, come on here. In any case, you could talk about great defense, and Montreal was pretty decent defense, except for Keon Hatcher. Uh, I hope you had Keon Hatcher in fantasy this week, Joe.
I did not.
Clearly, he was the choice of the week. 11 catches, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's almost 40 fantasy. I think that's 38.6 fantasy points. Something like this. 40 fantasy points at receiver. Nicely done. This was really the major weakness of the Montreal defense, which otherwise was pretty decent in this game, despite the ridiculous score. That's what happens when you're constantly out on the field, I guess. BC was able to put together some big drives, but again, like just one more damning statistic that I got in from the game here. Montreal Alouettes were in the red zone 4 times, 0 touchdowns. 0 touchdowns. The thing about leaning on your place kicker for all your points is cute, but it gets old. Okay, so come on, Alouettes, snap out of it, as they say. Maybe next week, huh, Joe?
No. Take one more week, see how you feel about this whole thing, and then, after that, go ahead and find a solution to that problem.
Go ahead, win away. Okay, all right. Well, that wraps last week. Joe has already talked about his work for the CFL Fans Fight Cancer. So let's talk about next week's games. However, I did want to put a bow on the comic strip saga of our hero Crankshaft, a spin-off character from the 1970s/80s comic strip Funky Winkerbean. Let's see. I actually thought I still had this up on my screen, Joe, but I don't. So hang on, I'm calling it up. Okay, our boy Crankshaft in the comic strip, of course, attended a Winnipeg Blue Bombers game. He is what is Jeff's relation to Crankshaft? Because I thought that was his son.
I thought so too. But that shows how well I know the comic, right?
Right, exactly. But all of a sudden, I guess they made reference where they're just friends or whatever. But then why are they living in the same house? I don't know. But in any case, that
merits further investigation that you should do and report back next week.
Okay, I'll find out the origin. Actually, I did do when we first started this venture into the Winnipeg Blue Bombers subplot in the comic strip. I actually did a bit of a deep dive into the origin story, but I don't recall the exact relation of Jeff to the main character, to the title character, Crankshaft. Anyway, so Crankshaft goes to the Winnipeg game. And, in the sort of hijinks that you get in this medium, does the classic looking for the bathroom trope, finding the player's locker room. Go through the game, so through a complicated series of events, our hero prescribes the winning play, which is, I'm trying to find that winning play because that's quite a call.
A triple reverse pass
right.
from Oliveira to Claris.
Right. Triple reverse running back to quarterback. Yeah. On a fake Carl Sluggo route. I like that little flourish there. So I guess that's what? That's the Minneapolis special, the Winnipeg special. Right? I guess is what we'll refer to that into the future. Uh, I'd probably pay good money to see Zach catch a touchdown pass. that would be that would be different.
It'd be fun. I'm all for it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so how did you enjoy the comic strip experience, especially given that, as some commenters pointed out, we don't even know who the opponent was in the game. There's no depiction of any of the action, and we didn't even find out the final score. Is this a problem for you?
No, I mean, I read an article about the game he went to, so I figured he was referring to that. So
Okay.
I was able to fill in some of the dots or some of the blanks, but it was just fun.
Okay. Yeah, it was an interesting little experience. It's been, of course, it's been ages since I've actually followed a comic strip day to day. This reminded me about how fleeting the pleasures of such an activity are. It kind of made me want to have, 20 other comic strips to read as well while I was doing this, which I could have done, but time, etc. So, nicely done by Mr. Davis. Hey, no relation. The writer of the Crankshaft.
I think he's the artist, and Tom Batchiuk is the writer. So.
Oh, okay. So only one signature on there. Oh yeah, Batchiuk and Davis. Okay, there it is. All right. So I'm just calling up the lines for next week's games. All right, let's talk about next week's games. We start the week with the annual Rouge, White, and Blue Bowl. Winnipeg at Montreal. Naturally, Winnipeg is the favorite. You want to guess the line on this one?
6.5.
Oh, wow. Jeez. Joe, come on. You're killing us. 3.5. 3.5. Some books are offering 4.5. 6.5. I mean, look, last week, BC actually got up to 7. They started the week at 5.5 point favorites against Montreal. It ended up being 7. It could have been like 20? No, it could have been about 17, and you would have still been okay. Not a surprise there. I wouldn't be surprised if this line goes up, depending on who they say our quarterback is. I think that line's going to go up no matter who they say the quarterback is. I really can't see anything turning around the East fate in general this week. I see that the East has three home games against Western teams this week. They'll probably lose all 3.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm going to take Winnipeg, and yeah, they'll probably cover a touchdown on this too.
Assuming they don't find a way to screw it up.
Right? Actually, yeah, this one might go down to the wire. I can't see Caleb Evans on one leg.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time going, wait, this isn't a gimme because there's no gimmies no more. Yeah, I liked it better when I could just look at it and go, yeah, that's a win, that's a win, that's a win, that's a win. They might lose one of these 3, and now it's like every week. We'll see.
Coin flip. Yeah, coin flip.
Welcome back to 2016.
Oh, God. See, stop doing that, Joe. Stop doing that. You're sending us back through time here. Not in a good way. Okay, now, here's a crazy line for you. Second game is Edmonton Elks at Ottawa Redblacks. All right. What do you think the spread is on this thing? I was pretty surprised.
I see. Excuse me. I see Drew Brown did not practice today with a knee injury. So I'm going to say Edmonton 4.5.
Yeah, the Redblacks are still favored by 1.5.
Then they didn't get the news.
Right. And this has been happening with CFL lines this year. This is relatively such a small market outside of Canada that if you're paying attention, you can really take advantage of some of
They,
these lines
I
sometimes.
think they just take numbers and go, okay, the math says this.
Well, yeah, they're going purely on trends, right?
Yep.
It's just like, I mean, these guys are setting lines for, like, famously Korean volleyball or whatever, right? So they're just, plugging in numbers, looking at algorithms, things like that. Later on through the week, they adjust for people. You know?
Yep.
They're saying, oh, so and so is quarterback. Oh, this team has the momentum, and realizing before they lose too much money. Again, the CFL market in the US, outside of Canada, is not that big. So they can afford to screw these lines up. And if you're paying attention, you can get some opportunities here if you're into that kind of poison. All right, so it's got to be the Elks here, right?
Yeah, I think so.
If they stay hot. I think they stay hot. Yeah, the West goes to, so that would make them seven. The East would be 7-17 against the West if those two games happen the way we think they do. Here's another one for you: BC Lions at Toronto Argonauts. BC favored by, what would you say?
Trying to be rational here.
Mhm.
5.5.
Well, again, 3.5.
Hmm.
So maybe the book is underplaying this a little bit. Of course.
I had a glib remark that I decided to keep to myself. Just thinking about this Toronto defense facing Nathan Rourke at his peak of his powers right now.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, good luck with Mr. Hatcher. Okay, so again, I think I'm covering the West. I think I'm covering the visiting team. What do you go here? You're
Yeah.
gonna you're gonna go with the Lions, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now finally, these three games might not be mind blowing. Well, I love that first game, right, Joe? But this first three games might be mind blowing. But clearly, the game of the week, the matinee game, is that final game on what would that be? The Sunday?
Saturday.
Sunday? It's the Saturday this week. Okay,
Yeah, they're
right.
doing double headers again. Like
Yeah.
they kind of it feels like they laid off of Sundays in August,
Hmm.
which
Hmm.
yeah, totally laid off Sundays in August. Like they did Sundays in June or
Hmm.
July. Yeah.
Hmm.
Missed one in June. Nope, missed a couple in June. Wow, no, they laid off of Sundays except for like
Yeah.
in the very end of June and July.
Mhm.
Last year they really spread their wings. This year they were more doubleheader on Saturday seems to be the play. Okay, I
Mhm.
guess that
Mhm.
must be what the ratings told them.
Well, yeah, this is great time for a ball game, 7 p.m. Eastern, uh, for the Saskatchewan Roughriders at Calgary Stampeders. Now, all right, what do you have for the line on this game?
Riders 1.5.
Okay, actually, this is Calgary is favored by one. So
Okay,
somebody is paying attention to the people, because I think that's probably the right call. Just by the numbers, okay, just to be mundane about it. The Riders are going to lose some games this year.
they are.
And right now, the Stamps are the most comparable team. I mean, the Ticats had a chance to say something about this last week, but you saw the results. I
No,
think.
they decided that yeah, they decided that they were not going to match up well.
Mhm, mhm. Now the Stamps have some strengths that I like. They're the best team against the run this year, and the Riders have been little hit and miss with Ouellette leading the run game this year. Sometimes he has monster games, sometimes he does not. Last game was more in the not so much category. Wasn't really needed too much. So I like that matchup for the Stamps. I like the Stamps playing smart football and the Riders still taking a lot of penalties. I think that could be a factor. And so yeah, I'm leaning on the Stamps here. I'm surprised it's only 1 point, but I also wouldn't be surprised if this line went to pick 'em by
Okay,
kickoff.
So I've been really, really bad about Calgary games this year. I think I've picked.
Yep.
I think I got 2 correct because I did
Okay.
call them to beat Winnipeg the last time around, hoping for the reverse jinx
Yes.
would not come.
But you got the pick 'em right. So
I got the pickup right. And
okay.
last week I went 3-1, I believe. So,
Okay.
gosh, it is a hard one because like rationality says Calgary. I almost want to pick the Riders because if I'm wrong about Calgary again, at least the Riders lose, right? But like, do I even care anymore? Are they too far gone for the Bombers to catch? Like, who do I want to reverse jinx more right now?
So pick a
Because
tie. Pick a tie.
there's good reasons to pick both teams. Like Calgary plays smart football, just like
Yeah.
you were saying.
Yeah.
Saskatchewan does tend to take penalties, but they've been playing really hot lately, right? They've been playing great football.
Yeah.
Eventually, that you're right. The law of average is going to catch up to them at some point, right? Is it this
Yeah.
week? Like this is the chance. This is the week that seems like it's the most rational week to do it. Gosh, like everything you said makes a lot of sense to me. Is Calgary good enough? Is Saskatchewan better? Right now, I think Saskatchewan's just playing too well. And they're a team that can make some mistakes and still rebound because they've been playing so well on offense and so well on defense, too. They're not giving up a lot of points either. So I am going to go the Riders and hope I'm wrong.
Okay.
And hope I'm right because I don't want Calgary to win either. I don't even know what I want in this game. Maybe I just want this game to go away so I don't have to think about it anymore. Because like, there's no result here that makes me happy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. No matter who wins, the Bombers lose.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe the Riders win, think that they're the best team in football, get overhyped, get full of themselves, and then get knocked down a few pegs the next 2 weeks. I can get on board with that line of thinking. How about that? Because guess what happens the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, right. Then you get the back-to-back.
Right.
Right.
In the hell, if I'm picking the Bombers to win Labor Day because that's a bad idea to begin with. And this year I have no good reason to pick Winnipeg.
Wow.
Like, most of the last like 5, 6, 7 years, it's like Winnipeg's the better team. Should I take them? It's Labor Day. Labor Day's always nuts and weird crap happens. And Saskatchewan usually wins on the weirdest things. It's like I don't even have to think about it this year. Like the Riders are the better team right now.
Yeah.
And it's Labor Day. Like I'm already putting my pick in now. I don't even care what happens next week.
Yeah, well, again, here's my dime store philosophy on this. Yeah, I was talking with a buddy of mine who also has been known to turn a wager, and the real key to Pick'em, even the CFL Pick'em game at CFL.ca, even the key to that is you have to pick the upsets, right? There's nothing you can do about the fluky losses, right? There's nothing you can do about these games where Winnipeg is throwing it away in the fourth quarter.
Right? Yeah, if you know what team's going 14-4, take them 18 times, right?
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. Nobody goes 18-0, right? And the real difference maker in Pick'em or in betting is picking those times when the apparent underdog wins. Right now, in this one, literally, Calgary is not the underdog. I think if this were any other week of this season, they would be. But it's just that, again, Saskatchewan is now beating the odds. Right? At 9-1, they're beating the odds on a average record in the CFL. They should not be 9-1. Few teams have achieved 9-1 in the CFL, right? So you're just looking for those moments when they lose those 3 or 4 games this year. I think this is one of those. I think, They'll have a fluky loss. I think they're going to lose one of the Winnipeg games, Joe. Which one are you going to go see? The second
Banjo
one?
Bowl.
Banjo Bowl. Okay, great. So I think they're going to win that game.
And that one,
All
I'm going to
right.
put in my pick now, too. The Bombers will win the Banjo Bowl because the Bombers
Okay.
win the Banjo Bowl. The
Great.
Riders will win Labor Day because the Riders tend
Are
to
the
win
best.
Labor Day, even though lately it's been about a 50-50 proposition.
Yeah.
It's not 50-50 this year. It just ain't.
Yeah. No.
The Banjo Bowl might be 50-50 this year, the way things are going.
Yeah. See, I think that's another Rider loss right there. And then maybe
Yeah, I've also seen that game be over with 10 minutes to go in the first quarter. Right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. Winnipeg scored some blowouts lately in that game. Okay, so great. That's the picks are in now. Joe, you realize you have 4 away teams.
I do.
Okay, 4 away teams, and you've got the West 3-0 against the East. So do I. My God, this is just getting worse and worse. They'll be 7-19 if the East loses all 3 games against the West this week. 7-19 this year against the West. Just absolutely terrible.
Oh, my
no wonder there's a crossover.
Screwed this year anyway, so let's go crazy.
Oh, my God. No more backup quarterbacks in Montreal, please. In any case, all right, let's wrap it. My name's Sauce Davis. This has been the Rouge, White, and Blue CFL podcast. For my co-host, Joe Pritchard, we are out of here. Have a great week and enjoy the games. Talk to you next week.